Hi guys, welcome back. So today we're going to repaint Matilda. Who's Matilda, you ask? Well, that's easy. Matilda's a moose, who I'll show you in just a second. She is a little lawn ornament, I guess, that my mom and I bought years ago. And she is very sun-bleached, and we're a little tired of it. So, but we still love Matilda. She's so cute. So I'm a repainter. I'm going to, I spent 20 minutes, half an hour? I spent a while yesterday cleaning her. So now she's nice and clean. And today we can start repainting Matilda Moose. How cute is she? She had a butterfly that was sitting here, but she's fallen over. She's been knocked over by the dogs so many times that butterfly was just a mangled mess. So I removed him yesterday, cleaned off the glue residue, got the staple out, and now we just have a moose named Matilda. She's very cute. And we're going to stick with essentially the same paint scheme, but it's going to take a few days to paint her. So this is going to be, I will have different makeup by the end of this video. Let's put it that way. Because she's not going to be quick. And we're going to take our time because she's real cute and she deserves to have a nice, pretty paint job. So sit back, relax, and watch as I repaint Matilda Moose. So I started by painting her almost entirely with an unbleached titanium, which is, it's in the white family, but it's more like a cream. I wanted to base her out in something light so that I had options, or more options rather, with building up the color as opposed to trying to add highlights after painting her a completely dark color. But she's already got the kind of dark antlers and hooves, so I thought, well, let's just base her out in a creamy white, and then we'll base out the darker areas in a darker color later. So for this day, I'm mostly focusing on getting her based and basically priming so that I can add all of the depth and all of the detail after this coat is dry. Fortunately, I do live in a desert, so it does not take that long for acrylics to dry. It's one of the reasons why I like working with acrylics living here, is that acrylics dry in usually an hour tops, and that's if you're painted a little bit thick. If you've got some impasto, it'll take you a lot longer than that, but still. So I ended up with a dark brown, I don't remember what the shade is, for the hooves, and I'm going to use the same color for the antlers when I get there. Trying to get into that middle space between all of her hooves was so tricky. I did not enjoy that at all. That was kind of a pain in the butt. It was still fun though. It was a nice little challenge to try to get her completely based out in a different color. I didn't want to leave anything untouched. I didn't want to leave any of the old paint showing through if I could prevent that at all. So while tricky, that was what I ended up going for, was just trying to fill everything in, which involved a lot of me getting into really weird positions to paint her. The antlers are a little bit easier because it's just a big antler on her head. So a lot easier to see what I was doing, a lot easier to fill it in. And I actually really like this shade of brown. It's very nice and chocolatey, which I always think, okay, chocolate mousse. I mean, it just makes sense, right guys? Chocolate mousse. So I went with this chocolatey color and figured I could add some highlights to it later to make them a little bit more antique-y and get her to look more outdoorsy because I don't want her to be super perfect. I want her to still be rustic and still have some fade to her without being so unintentionally faded, if that makes sense. I wanted her to still look not like she's necessarily brand new, but like she had a new paint job. And I was trying really hard to keep the cuteness in her because I do really miss her having the butterfly. It was such a cute little detail. It was part of why we ended up buying her in the first place. And then I could not bend it into the right shape at all. It was just nothing doing. So Matilda has these like wood grain lines all over her. So what I did was I took that same chocolate brown that I used on the antlers and I started filling in the lines of the wood grain, which hilariously means that for a while Matilda looks like a zebra. Yep. And I ended up painting all of these on the first day as well, just trying to get her like completely based out in the colors I wanted to start with and get her ready for me to do the final touches the next day. And this was not easy at all. I thought this was going to be super quick to just go in and fill in the like grooves for the wood grain. And it was not, I don't know if maybe I was using the wrong brush or what, but I also didn't want to use one of my nicer brushes. I wanted to use one of a lesser quality because while I did spend a lot of time cleaning Matilda, there were like no guarantees that I had actually gotten everything off of her. I didn't want the chance of her ending up getting something on my nice brush. So I found the nicest brush that I could that didn't cost very much and was using that to fill in the lines. And I realized a lot of this you can't really see what I'm doing, but she's such a weirdly angled moose. It was very tricky to find the right position to paint her in to where you could see her at all on the camera. So it made it a really fun little challenge, and I definitely get into some weird positions doing this. But I did have fun. And she, like, legitimately, she looks so much like a zebra by the time I'm done with these. It's not even funny. I was looking at her even at this point while I'm just doing her face, and I'm like, she is a zebra-faced moose. But again, I just really like her having these wood grain bits. And I'm going to try a different angle now because that first angle was being really obnoxious. I hope this one worked better. I think it worked better. At least you can somewhat see what I'm doing. But this is also a better angle for you to see the wood grain lines that I'm following that are already in her figure, I guess. I don't know. They're like molded into her. She's got these cute wood grains. And it just adds a lot to her. It adds a lot of character. And again, it's one of the things that we all really liked about Matilda is that she looks like a wood figurine even if she's not. She's just a chocolate mousse. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. So this was really the part that took the longest, and I ended up working on this until super late that first day. Because it's one of those things where, like, once you get into it, it's really hard to stop working on it. But man, it took a while. I don't know how late I was up working on it anymore. I didn't write it down. I probably should have. But it took a long time. Because there's a lot of little details, and there were even some lines that I missed that I didn't realize I had missed until I was basing out her final color. I was like, oh my goodness, there was a lot actually that I missed. Which was not like a huge, huge deal. But I did want to have her as filled in as possible. And here again is a lovely angle where you can't see what I'm doing. She's just a weird shape for this stuff, you guys. She's a real weird shape for filming. I tried all sorts of stuff too. But yeah, there's Matilda, the zebra moose. She is currently white and milk chocolate. And yeah, it was a challenge. It was a lot of fun. I do really like how she turned out, so I'm glad that I took the time to do these, even though it's not, well, you'll see, it doesn't turn out as important as I thought it would in the final version. But it's still, like, it looks really good and I like it. So much wood grain. I'm really glad that my mom suggested that we do this, though. My grandfather's wife did this with one of the figurines that we had gotten for them, ages ago. She ended up painting it, because it was just like a classic gray, and she ended up painting it. It's a little boy who's looking through a magnifying glass, I think at like a snail or something. And she ended up painting the boy in and coloring in the snail, and it looks so cute. So it was something that we really wanted to try doing, and I'm honestly really glad that we did, or that I did. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. This first color that I end up basing her out in is a lot grayer than I thought it was going to be. The brown that I was using when I mixed it with white just kind of turned into muddy gray, which was not really what I was going for. And I'm trying to do more of a dry brush technique here to give her some dimension and more like fur strokes. Because I wanted her to be like fur with wood grains. So I do end up getting out some darker colors later to kind of, yeah, here we go, here's some nice browns to try to deepen her out and give her a little bit more dimension. She's looking right now a little bit more faded than I wanted. I do want her to be semi-faded, but not overly faded. But dry brushing on her was really fun. I was able to get some really cool fur strokes and make her look really cute and lose a lot of the zebra lines. But again, I'm not really trying to lose them as much as I'm trying to work with them and work around them so that she maintains that texture but also has a nice texture of fur over the top. I feel like she turned out really well at this stage. She, again, wasn't exactly what I was going for, so I'm kind of just like angrily stabbing at the moose with a paintbrush here, trying to get her to be more of a color that I like and that I want. And then I got tired of doing that and moved on to the hooves, where I took more of that unbleached titanium that I based her out in, and I'm just dry brushing this onto her hooves to give her a little bit of weathering, just so she doesn't look so pristine. And I'll do the same thing to her antlers, because it looks more realistic this way too, if she's got some weathering to her antlers that keep her from being, again, super pristine in that nice chocolatey brown. Because she shouldn't be pristine, because she's a moose. They have dimension, they have extra colors. And I really like how this ended up looking on the antlers especially. Like the hooves look really nice. these antlers, I'm so happy with how these turned out. And that's a technique I would use again for something like this. And I'm filling in her eyes here again because couldn't really tell if I liked where her coloration was, primarily because she didn't have her eyes filled in yet. Adding some little details to her eyes here. And at this point I'm fairly happy with how she looks, but I want to make a change. Because she's a little muddy. So I'm just going to add some of the finer details. And then we're going to change her color a little bit. And here I'm doing a wash with a pale brown, occasionally dabbing it away with my finger, and just giving her a cuter look, so she doesn't look so dirty. And yeah, that was a really fun technique. I liked it. I liked how she turned out. She's done! So it didn't take me, it both took me as long and longer and shorter than I thought it would take, but Matilda is painted. I haven't done her spray finish on her yet, so she hasn't been sealed with these colors just in case, because I haven't shown anyone. Hopefully everybody here likes her and I don't have to repaint her, but I like how she looks. I think she turned out quite cute. I wanted to keep her still semi-muted just because she didn't last very long with super bold colors in the first place. But she won't be this glossy at all, and she's kind of got some shine to her. She'll be totally matte, and I think that'll make a lot of her colors pop a little bit better too. But I wanted her to look a little bit more rustic and cute. And I feel like I did a pretty good job. I know there were some things I could have done better, but I actually quite like how she turned out. I did add eyelashes to her eyes to give her a little bit more personality and make her a little bit more Matilda-ish. She's not as feminine looking as she used to be without her little butterfly, but like I said, the butterfly was so damaged that there was just no saving it. But this was a really fun little project. It ended up taking me about 2 days to paint her with letting the paint dry in between steps. And I think she turned out really nice. She's cute. She's a cute little mouse. What a cute mouse. But yeah, sorry I had issues with camera angles, guys. She's taller than things I usually paint, and she's just a really funky shape in general. So I tried, and I'm sorry that some of the shots just came out kind of weird. Hopefully the video was enjoyable anyway. She was very enjoyable to paint, and now I'm considering like going to Savers or Goodwill or something and seeing if there's others like this that I could buy and repaint just as a fun little thing. That might be a cute thing to sell online or something even. But yeah, this was a lot of fun and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, I will see you next week with a whole new video. Thanks for watching.